Welcome to Central News, I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, the Hamilton Zoo has a new addition, a baby zebra named Quasi, and the other animals in the Savannah Run have accepted him well. The 3-week-old zebra was born in the middle of the night without any human assistance. Primary keeper of the Savannah Run at Hamilton Zoo, Louise van der Sand, says Quasi has been accepted well by the giraffes, ostrich and the zebras.
Really well, yeah, he's very strong, he's part of the herd. They've got immunity pretty much for the first few months. They can get up to all sorts of trouble and all sorts of mischief. He runs around the paddock like crazy, he tumbles over, runs back to mum, has a drink, goes to sleep. So he's getting on really well, he's really strong. Mother's really experienced and knows what she's doing, so yeah, they're going really well.
Matamata Township will receive a makeover of the deep fried kind thanks to the Chip Group. The Chip Group are holding a seminar on Monday the 25th for all Matamata operators who are involved in or cook deep fried chips to improve the nutritional quality of deep fried chips served in Matamata and to promote the town as the best chip town in New Zealand. Kate from the Chip Group says mystery samples have been taken from every retailer selling hot chips in Matamata, a total of 20 operators.
Basically, it's an event that we're running, so we're running our training seminar, which is based on our industry standards. So we have short-minute videos where all the operators in Matamata will be invited to come along, and we want them to learn things like using chips that are bigger than 13 millimetres, or shake banging and hanging when they're draining their chips. And once everybody's come along, we want a success story that says that Matamata has the best chips in New Zealand.
Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, your Tuesday will be mostly fine with some cloud developing and a westerly. You have an expected high of 26 and an overnight low of 12. Tauranga for you, it will be fine weather with a westerly developing. Your expected high is 26 and an overnight low of 15. Just ahead, some University of Waikato students tackling a third world problem. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Microsoft Imagine Cup, the world's largest technology competition, invites tertiary students from around the globe to create software using Microsoft applications to find real solutions to real-world problems. And 2 teams from the University of Waikato have made it to the finals. Team Opportunists and Team Cold Studios.
So our team consists of 4 people. We've got myself and Urson, who are the programmers. We then have Shawnee Kitson, who is our graphic designer and art lead, and then Brian Cole, who is our team leader.
So tell us a little bit about the app you guys have designed.
So the app we've designed is a new platform for telling stories, specifically aimed at children for now. It's really about bringing families together, especially families who don't have a lot of time to spend with their children. The idea is that you can record a story once and your child can watch it as many times as they like. And they don't necessarily need to be in the same place even. They could be on the other side of the country, or they could be on the other side of the farm, and you just don't have the chance to see them as much as you'd like to.
So who came up with the idea and why?
So the idea was a collaborative idea between our team. We were thinking of the idea when we finished our previous app, and the idea is specifically for the Imagine Cup 2013, so it's a brand new idea. It relates to Brian the most because he was at sea when he was in the military on a ship, and he had to see his youngest child, Joseph, crawl for the first time through Facebook instead of in person, and that really hit hard on him, and he wanted to come up with the way of helping other parents and caregivers connect with their children better.
Who specifically is this app designed for?
Families, really. People who don't have a lot of time to spend with their children. Brian was very motivated because of the story with him being at sea where he saw his son crawl for the first time through Facebook. And we're hoping to provide a more personalized experience. And the way that we do that is by allowing the child the ability to customize the story, to really make it their own, to use their name and their own design of monster.
And you're hoping to promote this app at this year's field days?
So we plan on talking to Waikato University again this year to think about putting this app or one of our other ideas into this year's field days. It was great promotion last year for us and the University of Waikato, and yeah, we're just thinking about it this year so far.
So who are the members of your team?
Well, there's myself and Michael. We do everything besides the coding and programming. So we do the business and conceptual and design kind of stuff. Then there's Hayley Littlewood and Kieran Thompson, and they do the programming, sort of computer coding, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then we also have a mentor, Debbie Ireland, who was provided to us by Microsoft, and she's awesome. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the app that you've actually designed.
The app we've designed is an app targeted at the developing world, but we also developed it so that it would also have some implications for the developed world, so that it would be useful like here in New Zealand. What we've designed is a medical app that tracks your vaccinations, as well as being a medical records application, so you can have your medical records on your cell phone.
So a person's whole medical history of their life?
What we are aiming at doing is moving into a country that, in the developing world, that hasn't quite established proper medical records, like a national database, and developing it from scratch. So it would be more basic, and through creating something like that in a developing world country, we can bring that to a developed world country like New Zealand through external pressure.
Why did you decide on this app?
Well, Michael and I have actually both spent time in developing world countries. I've been to Ghana in Africa, and he has been to Cambodia. So we're really keen on doing something focusing on the developing world. Yeah, so there's actually 80% of the world's cell phones are in the developing world, which surprised everyone when we were at the national briefing. Not all of those are smartphones, but like such a large percentage, it seemed like a massive area we could go into. So yeah, and then health is such a big issue over there. So I think we saw a need and wanted to create a solution to fit that need instead of the other way around. Really, 80% of the world's phones? Yeah, it's a lot, right? It's crazy. Yeah. So who is this app actually designed for?
Our passion is for the developing world, so our first target audience is the developing world. Jess and I felt really strongly that it should be for the developing world, so that's who the app is for. But we also want to develop it for the developed world as well, and we would charge a fee in the developed world. So say in New Zealand we would charge a fee for it, and then that would mean that we could offer it to the developing world for free and create a self-sufficient economy.
And so for medical professionals can actually use it?
Yeah. No, it's for the patient, and it will bridge a gap between the patient and the practitioner.
So tell us about the Imagine Cup finals.
Well, okay, so there were 550 entries into the Microsoft Imagine Cup, and that's just concept entries, so an idea, and that got whittled down to the top 100. And then we all got Skype interviewed. So we put 2 concepts in, the vaccine one and the medical records one, and got through the top 100, and they loved it, but they said we needed to combine both of them and make one big app. So we were kind of scared by that, but it's a real cool idea and it's worked out really well. So now we're in the top 25, and the finals are 24th and 25th of March. Yeah, so there's like a judging night or afternoon. And then the next day is a showcase where they tell us the winners and we sort of show our app to a bunch of industry professionals.
Coming up next, the fluoride debate. Welcome back. Recently we looked at the argument for fluoridating Hamilton's water supply, and tonight we look at the argument against. I spoke with the Fluoride Action Network New Zealand. So is Hamilton's water supply currently fluoridated?
Yes, it is, and it has been since the 1960s.
So why are you against fluoride in the water?
Why are we against fluoride in the water? Okay, I was born in Germany, and my parents were dentists, for a starter. So when I came to New Zealand, I had no idea about fluoridation in the water until I found out that where I lived in Hamilton, the water was fluoridated. Now, for Germans, fluoridation means this is what Hitler did in the concentration camps. So for me, it was like, why are they fluoridating us? And and of course in Middle Europe there's no fluoridation. And so I started asking questions, and I started researching, and I started looking into the detail of fluoridation, and I was shocked, totally shocked what was going on here. So that's why I've been campaigning for probably 15 years now against fluoridation.
Why was Hitler putting it in the concentration camps?
To sedate the people. And I think it actually works really well on some city councillors, I think. I'm sorry.
Some of us are immune, fortunately.
Yeah, we are immune. Yeah, we're immune. Okay.
So, Christine, why are you against fluoride?
Well, a couple of reasons. First, it just doesn't make sense, for a start, and on the basis of common sense. For example, let me tell you that Hamilton City, there's about 150,000 residents, and they produce 45 million litres of water a day. That's all fluoridated. In that 150,000 people is a 3% target group that they're aiming the fluoride at. So that's 4,500 children who are drinking, what, maybe a litre a day at the most? So that's 4,500 litres a day out of 45 million litres a day that they're medicating, which is an awful lot of wasted fluoride, I would have thought, because 40% of the water gets wasted in leaks, so that's fluoride going everywhere out into the soil, everywhere it's not needed, not wanted. And then another 7/8 of the 60% that's left is used in industry, and then the 1/8 that gets to your home is going down the toilet, through the washing machine, watering the garden, washing the car. Very little is being drunk, and we're recommended to drink about 2 litres a day. Very few people drink that much. Very few. So we're wasting. This is very wasteful. If we've got 4,500 children in Hamilton who need extra care, they know their names. They know who these people are. Let's just find them and give them the specific care that they need and the dental care they need. So maybe some education about what to eat, because you know that's the main problem here. It's not lack of fluoride. In fact, all publications, even from the ministry, about dental decay, never talk about lack of fluoride as being the problem. They all talk about too much sugar, too many soft drinks. So everybody knows that, but then they treat it with putting in fluoride. And I have a little article here, which was just a classic example. Newspaper article in here. Oh, now I've lost them all. It's just typical. And if we address the real issues of dental decay, we would also be dealing with a whole lot of health issues, obesity, diabetes, huge health problems. So as long as we ignore the real cause of tooth decay, we're going to be increasing the amount of other health issues here. So it just doesn't make sense.
Because when we were talking earlier, you actually mentioned an interesting test that you guys did about water touching the teeth when you actually drink.
Yeah, absolutely. We did that a few years ago, I think, with your son.
With my son, yes. We went down to the newspaper office, and they took photographs. So he hadn't brushed his teeth, so he had plenty of film on his teeth, and we got a disclosing tablet from the dentist, and he just drank the water. He didn't swish it around his mouth. He just drank it,
like normal.
Just normal.
You would normally do.
And it didn't touch his teeth. So his teeth didn't touch it. And then when he put some in his mouth and swished it around, all his teeth were all red. Yeah. So it doesn't touch your teeth. Drinking doesn't touch your teeth. Yeah.
Will you guys be attending the tribunal in May?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you'll be making your argument there?
Yes, we will. We've been doing it for 15 years again. To the same people. Oh, similar people anyway,
So how is there actually, because I read that there's actually an increase of lead uptake with fluoridated water.
Yeah, that's right, and it comes with the we're talking here about fluoride, but actually most people have no idea in what form the fluoride, what form we're drinking. So the form we're drinking it is called hydrofluorosilicic acid. It's a byproduct of an industrial process, and actually it comes from Morrinsville, or used to come from Morrinsville. Now it comes from Belgium somewhere. But what it comes with, that hydrofluorosilicic acid, it comes with lead, cadmium, and arsenic. Are you excited about these three things as additives to the? I mean, if you here's a glass of hydrofluorosilicic acid, would you drink it? I don't think so. I think most people said no, thank you. So that's where the lead uptake comes in. And interestingly enough, we actually talked about that on the way in. That 20 years ago, a friend of mine, her son wasn't that well, so she got him tested for heavy metals, and he had a high lead level in his blood. And a whole lot of other children were tested at the same time for high lead levels, and then they stopped testing because they found it and they didn't know what to do about it. So
it's very interesting. We're going to have to leave that at the end, ladies, but we will catch up with you soon. To find out more, visit their website fanz.org.nz. Stay tuned as we have the young farmers coming up. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. Do you have what it takes to be this year's ultimate young farmer? Entries close for our region tonight, so get in quick. Hilary Phillips tells us how.
So Young Farmers has been around for just over 80 years now. We started in 1932 and there are clubs all over the country. We've got about 110 clubs now, and it's really just a lovely meeting place for young people of rural interest, like-minded people get together, network, and there's also the competitions as well, so there's a lot of skill development that goes with it.
So tell us about the upcoming Ultimate Rural Challenge.
Yeah, the Ultimate Rural Challenge. So that's part of the ANZ Young Farmer Contest, and that is, it really tests contestants mentally and physically in all sorts of different challenges, and to find out a champion for the year.
So when and where are our Waikato and Bay of Plenty regional finals?
So this coming Saturday, the 16th, and that is at St Paul's Collegiate School. So there's a practical day there, which is free entry, and that starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then it goes through practical challenges. There's a head-to-head at 11 o'clock where all the contestants come together and compete against each other, and that's really exciting event. And then the real pinnacle event is at 1 o'clock, and that's the agri sports, and once again they all race side by side for about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour.
So what will the contestants have to do to complete the challenges?
Well, that's a closely guarded secret until Saturday, but what I can tell you are some of the things that they are likely to do or would normally do at other competitions. So things like fencing, things with quad bikes, a bit of fertiliser, sometimes a bit of a fire safety challenge as well. There's often a cook-off or boning out a shoulder, shearing sheep, mastitis, testing cows, all sorts of things like that. But it is really under wraps until Saturday, so the contestants have to study for each and everything.
And what do you think the judges are looking for at this New Zealand Young Farmers contest?
I think they're looking for someone who is thorough, someone who takes their time, really assesses what they need to do, doesn't hurry, someone who is a practical person but also a technical person, someone who can manage a farm, do budgets, someone who can speak and communicate well with people as well, so really an all-rounded person.
So can people still register for the competition?
No, they can't actually. We've had these for the competition this weekend. They've all got through their district elimination. But what people can register for this weekend is the Agri Kids and the TNAG events. So that's the primary school and secondary school competition. And if they go to www.getahead.co.nz, they can register there before this weekend.
And so what will be happening at the primary school and the Agri Kid and team?
So they're like the young ones version of the contest. So the Agri Kids, they compete in teams of 3, and then the TNAG, they compete in teams of 2. So they do all sorts of things like putting together a bridle for a horse, a bit of puzzles and things like that, quiz type questions about the supply chain and things like that. So it's really a fun learning day, and they do it in teams, and they have a great old time. And they have their own race off too. Their race off is around 11:50 a.m. on Saturday, and it's good fun. There's all sorts of things like flour everywhere, and it's good fun.
So how much are the tickets for those who want to watch and come and support the young farmers?
So the practical day is free entry for everybody, and then the evening show is at St Paul's Collegiate as well on Saturday night, and tickets there are $55 for general admission.
Tell us about the grand final.
Yeah, the grand final. So whoever wins on Saturday, they'll be going through to the grand final, which is in Auckland, and that's the 16th to the 18th of May. And we're looking at the Kumeu Showgrounds to have the practical day there, and then the televised show and ball will be at Sky City.
It's very urban setting for a young farmer.
It is. And I guess that's all about, bridging the rural-urban divide, which is the theme for this weekend's contest as well. So really just getting, urban people, getting those links back to the country and where their food comes from as well.
So who is it sponsored by?
So we've got lots of sponsors with the contest. Our principal sponsor is ANZ, and then we've got another couple of tiers of sponsors in there as well, but ANZ is the principal sponsor.
So is there someone that we should be watching out for on Saturday?
Oh, it's going to be a bit of a tight race. There's a couple of guys that are likely to do really well. One of them is Tim van der Molen. Now, he went to grand final 2 years ago. He actually works for ANZ. He will be, I think this is his year. He's targeting this as his year. And the other person to watch out for is Dwayne Cowan. Now, he's come second for the last couple of years, so he's sort of got a little bit of the bridesmaid tag there. So he will be really trying to push for the top spot to go to grand final as well. So watch for a big tussle between those two.
Why do you think it's so important to have these kind of competitions?
Oh, look, it's really, I guess, you can be out on the farm, you don't really know how you're doing. Against your farmer next door, you can kind of compare yourself, but on a national scale, it's really important for that skill development and to really know how you put yourself. You might think you're doing pretty good, but you get to those higher levels up and you really work out where you can improve. But I guess that skill development part is really important as well. And these guys that say competing this weekend, they have to study for just about everything. So they're just learning so many things about other farming practices that they wouldn't normally use at home as well.
And I guess that's kind of about bringing together that community of young farmers.
Yeah, it does, and that's why Young Farmers started, right, way back in 1932. To get together, swap ideas, everyone has the same problems, and I guess it's about not reinventing the wheel as well. So it is really much a community organisation. It's those community clubs that are the grassroots as well.
So how can people join and get involved with New Zealand Young Farmers?
So the best place to get involved is www.youngfarmers.co.nz. They've got a Facebook page as well. So they're the two best places to go and have a look, and they'll give you details there of how to join.
Visit youngfarmers.co.nz to find out where our regional finals are. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.